Friday brings this guy in to talk about movies, about streaming, about the world of pop culture. He is this wondrous cat. I don't know how he gets it all in. He comes and goes on a rainbow. The brilliant culture blaster, Michael Snyder. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Mark. I want to wish everybody a happy February and a warm February here in California. Elsewhere, people are freezing their tuchus off. But I'm telling you, honestly, Mark, I'm always excited at the beginning of February. You're a meteorologist among your many talents.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I wanted to let you know that I went outside on Groundhog Day this past Monday, and I saw my shadow. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, that means 6 more weeks of seasonal affective disorder and 3 more years of autocracy. Is that true? Is that what it's about?
Nothing.
Very good.
Yeah, yes. Speaking of the racist in chief, late breaking news, Trump is now ordering Webster's dictionary to permanently change the word blackmail to white male, so it sounds like a less pejorative thing to do.
Oh, wow.
I'm wildly enthusiastic.
Okay, wow.
I bet you are.
That's pretty crazy. I don't know.
That was very inappropriate.
Anyway, let's
don't talk to
Don't talk to me that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's before we get to the regular film reviews, I do want to say that in San Francisco, a really wonderful thing is happening. It started yesterday, and it will continue for 4, 5, 6 days. It's called the Mostly British Film Festival.
Oh, you've mentioned this before, yes.
And it's devoted to a wealth of new and vintage cinematic efforts from the UK, the Commonwealth, and associated locales. And it's back at San Francisco's Vogue Theater for its 18th season. And if you want to get more details, I preview highlights of this year's Mostly British Film Festival in The Voice of San Francisco in my column. It's thevoicesf.org.
Oh, that's great. You should read Michael. He's very good as a writer, and you might enjoy it. Thevoicesf.org.
Also, one more extraneous note away from the reviews proper.
I'll ding extraneous.
A friend of mine, Odessa Lil, is a burlesque performer, and with her troupe of burlesque performers, her fellow dancers, she has been doing a tribute to Weird Al Yankovic for a number of years. All the songs that they dance to and parody are Weird Al Yankovic tunes. Yeah. And they've made a documentary called Tight and Nerdy. And this documentary screens this coming Saturday night at the Roxy in the Mission on 16th. I just wanted to bring that to people's attention.
No, that's really, really cool. It's a documentary about them following...
About them doing the dancing and what have you, and touring with this Weird Al tribute, and I think Mr. Yankovic is in this.
This is tomorrow night?
Yeah, tomorrow night at the Roxy.
Wow.
So it'll be available for streaming at some point, but I think that's kind of an exciting...
It could be a fun event.
Speaking of exciting...
Well, you've covered it. That's San Francisco and Los Angeles. So Californians are very well covered by your... do you have anything for the rest of us who are maybe not in California?
I'm a Cali guy. I do want to get to the reviews, but I want to preface the reviews by saying that on Tuesday night, I went to my first Hollywood premiere at historic Grauman's Chinese Theater in years.
Wow.
To see French director Luc Besson's Dracula. And it was, everybody was decked out in red and black and what have you, and the stars were all there. Caleb Landry Jones, who plays the Count, Christoph Waltz, who plays his enemy and his I guess his nemesis, trying to bring down the vampire. They're among them. And so was my old acquaintance, the talented man who wrote the movie's score, Danny Elfman, legendary L.A. New Wave musician.
Of course. From
Oingo Boingo, renowned TV and film composer. And we exchanged pleasantries. He's always struck me as a good guy. I mean, eccentric, but really, really cool. And, of course, Dracula does lead off our weekly reviews today. In case you're wondering, I checked the red carpet. As far as I could tell, there was no actual blood. Anyway, on to the review proper.
All right, sir, go ahead. Now, Dracula, he's a blood-sucking monster.
Of sorts.
Not so much in this one?
Well, I mean...
Is he the sympathetic anti-hero?
You see the whys and the hows of Dracula in this movie. So we had Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein last year.
Yeah, I love that.
And now we have Luc Besson's Dracula.
Sure.
Now, there's something about these classic monsters in the public domain that it makes filmmakers want to do their own versions of these venerable, hoary properties. They don't have to pay anybody for the rights and whatever.
Yeah, I'm being venerable. Yeah, go ahead.
The vampire genre is as deathless as a vampire, all right? I mean, truth be told, I loved Robert Eggers' recent take on the... we'll call him the proto-bloodsucker Nosferatu. We've had the Universal movie from Hollywood's golden age with Bela Lugosi as Dracula. the Hammer studio films with Christopher Lee as Dracula, and Francis Ford Coppola's lush version with Gary Oldman as the very old man and part-time bat. And now it's Dracula again. And you know what? Look, it's okay. It's as hard to kill this property as it is to kill Dracula himself. There are good performances, albeit some of the scenery-chewing variety, led by this compelling performance by Caleb Landry Jones as Count Drac. It boasts gorgeous costuming and art direction. Danny Elfman's score is lovely. And there's that typically kinetic direction by, we'll call him French pulp movie king Luc Besson, who can really deliver the action and madcap characters, as he did in The Fifth Element, La Femme Nikita, The Professional. Those are all Luc Besson films. The problem here is Besson, the screenwriter. His script has many plot points culled from Bram Stoker's classic Gothic novel, and it starts out as a romantic period thing, telling the pre-vampire backstory of the Romanian Count Vlad, and specifically about his love for the beautiful Elisabetta, who, by the way, hey, Nepo alert, played by Zoe Blue, Rosanna Arquette's daughter. I think it's her first major role, and she puts herself pretty well. Yeah. How losing Elisabetta compels Vlad to rail against God and the church and consequently be cursed with bloodlust and immortality.
Is that how it happened in the book?
Maybe. It's been so long. I'm just telling you, this is the stuff at the very top of the film that Besson concentrates on.
John says, so he's just misunderstood Dracula.
Ish.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
Right.
I mean, there's a trail of dead bodies and people turned into vampires.
Yeah.
He spends hundreds of years searching for her reincarnation until the late 1800s, when this is set, and when he believes she might have been reborn as a sexy babe named Mina, also played by Blue, in Paris. So he loads the old coffin on a coach, has his henchmen bring him.
Does he travel in a coffin?
Yeah. This does have some bite to it, okay? And I like that the Count has a troop of gargoyles at his beck and call, guarding his castle, and sort of a new twist with that Cathedral of Notre Dame vibe.
Sure.
I mean, Besson's a Frenchman, of course.
Right.
I kept looking for Quasimodo. He didn't show up. But the third act feels kind of rushed, like Besson spent so much time on the romance at the top that he had to speed up to get to the finish line. And the other thing about this film is that there are moments of dark comedy beyond the joys of Christoph Waltz as the vampire hunting priest. And these things may be fun, but they kind of take you out of the traditional creepiness of the tale.
I see.
That seemed more Rocky Horror Picture Show than a serious retelling of the Dracula story. But those are just moments. Okay, Eggers' Nosferatu, Coppola's Dracula. They set a pretty high bar for period vampire epics. So Besson's Dracula didn't suck, except, when he or his minions did. And honestly, as much as I was diverted by what I watched, I really would have preferred seeing RuPaul in Dragula. Honestly, we've seen how many times do we have to see the Dracula story? For fans of this sort of thing, I think it's pretty good. And I was diverted for 2 hours. It's in theaters across this great nation of ours.
All right. It sounds to me like you didn't mind it. I mean, is the warm up to what goes on too quickly at the end? Is the warm up captivating in any way?
Yeah. The first part of it, where you're seeing his backstory, is kind of cool.
Interesting. Yeah, it sounds interesting.
There are moments and moments, and
then he just starts biting people and murdering people.
Yeah, it just characterization gets thinner and thinner somehow as the movie goes along.
I see. All right,
let's move on to another horror film, and one that I can't really endorse. I kind of enjoyed Luc Besson's Dracula. I did. But we have a movie called The Strangers Chapter 3. Now, I remember when you said to me, well, Courtney and I want to go see Avengers Endgame. And I said, have you seen Avengers Infinity Wars? And you said no. And I said, why would you think of seeing the second part of a two-part movie when you haven't seen the first? So we had two movies beginning with 2008's The Strangers, and then they dropped that. They did fairly well for low-budget horror films. And that was followed by a reboot of two more movies in what is a low-budget horror film franchise, wherein the quiet town of Venus, Oregon, is the personal playground of three young killers, in their 20s, in cheap Halloween masks. And they like to kill young couples that stay at a seedy local motel for the night as they pass through town.
Wow.
And that's basically the essence. It's a trio of serial killers in cheapo masks.
Yeah.
And now we have the third of this kind of reboot trilogy, all three of which feature Madeline Petch as Maya, who people may remember her from Riverdale. She was Cheryl Blossom. I kind of would have preferred a movie where she tried to kill Archie and Reggie, but that doesn't happen here.
Wow.
Anyway, this is what I pray is the last chapter in the reboot. There's a horror movie trope of the final girl who survives horror machinations, administrations. And it's taken here to trilogy mandated extremes. So the masked serial killing trio of Scarecrow, Dollface, and Pinup Girl, those are the three cheap masks. They are down one at the end of chapter 2. Spoiler alert. So they need a replacement psycho. And that's what this movie is essentially about.
Of course.
So are they going to, this gruesome twosome, are they going to recruit someone? And how does the carnage-enabling local sheriff tie in? The gore notwithstanding, it was all quite silly and shallow. I mean, the slaughters weren't even particularly imaginative. I'm not going to say, what do you expect from a movie directed by noted hack Rennie Harlan? But what do you expect from a movie directed by noted hack Rennie Harlan?
Rennie Harlan directed this?
Yes, he's directed a couple of these. The Strangers chapter 3 is in theaters all across the country, and if you've seen 1 and 2 and liked them, I even think you'll be disappointed.
Wow. Okay.
It just was like,
It's a no-go for Strangers.
Why bother? All right, how about a movie that I can endorse? Now, Mark, have you ever been to the Folsom Street Fair?
I'm familiar with it, but I've never been to it. It's really over the top.
It's a gay B&D and S&M theme. Not totally gay. It's non-denominational in that regard.
But it's pretty wild.
Bondage and domination, sadomasochism.
Yeah.
And
this is in San Francisco, for those of you who are not familiar.
Pillion may be the first prestige, realistic, non-judgmental, non-exploitive film drama about a gay B&D S&M relationship. And boy, it's got star power. Alexander Skarsgård,
wow,
from HBO's True Blood and The Northman and Godzilla versus Kong, a bunch of films. He plays the dominant person in the relationship, and it's about kind of a young man in a UK town who just wants to please. He's in a barbershop quartet. He seems pretty wholesome. He just wants to please people. He's a kind guy, and he's gay, but he stays pretty much reserved on that front. But nobody questions that he's looking for a guy in his life, and his parents are cool about it. And he meets this handsome, swaggering biker type who comes into town with a sort of nondescript accent, and they start up a relationship.
Sure.
And it's Skarsgård as the master or daddy, and he's part of a whole group of leather boy bikers and their submissive slaves.
Yeah.
And this young man becomes his submissive. And by the way, if you wonder about the title, a pillion is a seat for a passenger behind a motorcyclist. But in this case, we can assume it's meant to denote the person riding back there. It's got moments of sweetness. It's got moments of like, this is sort of quasi-explicit sex. But it is sensitive, well-written, beautifully acted, both by Skarsgård and in the essential role of the submissive guy, Harry Melling, who played Edgar Allan Poe in The Pale Blue Eye. He was Malcolm in The Tragedy of Macbeth, and regular moviegoers will recognize him as Dudley Dursley in the Harry Potter movies. This is leagues away from the Harry Potter movies, let me tell you. Beautifully directed and written by Harry Leighton. It's not going to be for everybody. You've got to understand, this is, kind of...
I mean, it's, you're not kidding.
It's rough, but I'm telling you, it's got a sweetness to it.
Isn't that interesting that that Skarsgård, that these, so many who have so many choices on different projects spark to this?
It's so beautifully written, and this is, of course, you're making a good point. He's Tarzan, for God's sake.
Well, I mean, he could. I'll just put it this way: he gets his pick of projects.
And he read this script and thought, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And again, both he is, of course, the Swedish son of Stellan Skarsgård and brother of Bill Skarsgård. He and Melling are wonderful in this thing. And again, if it's too much for you, from what I'm telling you, please don't watch it. But it is in select theaters, and not just in the Castro or West Hollywood. It's,
It's not a gay movie, is what you're saying.
well, no, it's pretty damn gay.
but I mean, it's not just for the gay community.
no, but it's
For people who want to see the
it's
gay
a
community.
window into a very real subculture
Yeah.
that exists out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I give it high
Is it
marks.
disturbing?
For some who find
Who don't want to see that subculture of
right.
it's,
I'm not going to recommend that MAGA goes there. Go to the Melania film, people. There you go. That's how you should spend your money. I'm kidding. Don't ever go there.
All right.
Jim Pa
Yeah.
is the next film on the docket. It is a family and found family drama, and there are LGBTQ concerns here. And this movie has the sincere intent to address LGBTQ plus lifestyles and concerns in a modern setting. And it's a little earnest, but it's hard to decry since its heart is in the right place. And in lead roles, Olivia Colman and John Lithgow
Wow.
are so damn good at their craft. Here, Coleman plays a wife, mother, and filmmaker from Australia, and Lithgow plays her father, who happens to be a very out gay academic, living his truth for many years in Amsterdam. And as it happens, the mom, the wife, mother, and filmmaker played by Coleman, has a grandchild who is a non-binary trans teenager. I'm sorry, this would be the grandfather's grandchild. Her child is non-binary, and the kid wants to move in with grandpa instead of staying in Australia and finishing high school. And so they go to Amsterdam, and this is about their adventures there. And of course, the fact that Jim Pa, by the way, a little play on the fact that his name is Jim and he is a grandpa. So
I see.
That's where the name comes from. He's kind of getting on in years. He's recovered from a stroke, but he's still so full of life that, it's that can't stop, won't stop way. He's going to still dance. But as you watch, it's hard not to hear the clock ticking. So it addresses the lifestyle. It addresses how people react, whether gay or straight, to that situation.
And end-of-life stuff, too.
And it features a beautiful pair of performances. And as the kid, I've got to say, pretty good job by young Aude Mason Hyde, who happens to be the child, if I'm not mistaken, of Sophie Hyde, director and screenwriter of Jim Pa.
What?
I'm not going to say that I'm not going to say this, but it could be considered a bit of a vanity project because it is taken from her life, but it's done with such care and love. It's hard to be very negative about it. It's just not a lot goes on, and it does some kind of very typical things. Again, great actors, an interesting film, but I would say in terms of the quality level, Pillion is a far more,
If you're looking for a gay romp, then you're saying B&D it with Pillion is what you're telling me.
I'm saying that this other one is much softer and sweeter.
Yeah, you like your gay hard is what you're telling me.
I want it vicious. No.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Right.
Moving on, please.
I got to get to some
Moving
movies
on.
that are really first rate. My Father's Shadow is an absolutely wonderful and compelling, a powerful and poignant story, which is England's best international feature film entry to the upcoming Academy Awards, and it won the Camera d'Or special mention at Cannes. It's written and directed by Akinola Davis Jr., and it is the story of a father and his two sons, and it's set in 1993 Lagos, back in the day when it was roiled by all kinds of political unrest. Mm-hmm. And in the circumstance, the dad, played by the wonderful Afro-British actor Sope Dirisu, who you will recognize from Slow Horses.
Oh, sure.
And he's also been in Gangs of London. He plays the boy's politically compromised father. He has two sons who are, I think, like 7 and 10 or something to that degree, and he wants to spend a little time with them. He's not around that much, so he goes to the village where they live, and he says that the kids should join him going into the city, Lagos, Nigeria, while he has an errand to run. He wants to get some money that he's owed. So this is about their journey to the city and what they encounter. And I get it. I got to tell you, Dirisu is wonderful, very thrilling, nuanced performance. And the relationship that he has between these two kids who are portrayed by young actors, obviously I've never seen before, but are so brilliantly real, on screen. I got to give them a shout out because they are so good. One of the kids is named Godwin Egbo, and the other kid is Shibuke Marvelous Egbo, and they are clearly brothers, and they play brothers. And honestly, Mark, this is a beautiful film, and all kudos to Akinola Davies. I think this is one of his first films, if not his first. And I have to tell you, wow, My Father's Shadow. It's in a kind of English, but so heavily accented that it's subtitled. And it's set in Nigeria, but there are British creators involved in it, and thus it was presented as England's entry for Best Foreign Film. And,
you love it.
I thought it was beautiful. It is in select theaters. And how about this? The other movie I can unabashedly endorse is called The President's Cake. And it is another wonderfully executed foreign film about young kids thrust into volatile political circumstances. The President's Cake is delicate and deceptively simple, a look at growing up in disadvantaged circumstances, and those being poverty in 1990s Iraq during the reign of that dictatorial international pariah Saddam Hussein. A 9-year-old girl named Lamia lives with her elderly grandmother in an Iraqi backwater. Saddam's birthday is coming up, and it's a national holiday. So her teacher assigns Lamia the task of baking a cake for her class to celebrate Saddam. But this is a rough time. Ingredients are scarce and pricey, especially with all the blockades that are in place at that time. So with her pet rooster under her arm, she has a pet rooster named Hindi. Lamia and her grandmother head to the city to get what she needs for the cake, and there she encounters a rascally classmate, all manner of challenges, unscrupulous businessmen, the authorities. But you can't underestimate the pluck of one determined little girl. At one point, the sight of an elusive red balloon might remind cinephiles about a film that told the urban adventures of a kid, a French film that features this innocent child, the red balloon. But The President's Cake is a much bleaker place than Paris in many, many ways. Beautifully written, beautifully directed by Hassan Hadi, who had a co-writer, Eric Roth, on the screenplay. Again, high marks for The President's Cake, and it is in select theaters.
Wow. What a bounty you have come through with today, oh great culture blaster. The President's Cake, a foreign film about growing up in an impoverished circumstance, but the 9-year-old girl in 90s Iraq, she wanted to make a birthday cake for Saddam Hussein, is what you're telling me.
Saddam Hussein. Can't get enough of him. Happy birthday, you bastard.
And her attempts to gather those ingredients take us on a journey, is what I'm getting from you, Michael Snyder.
And like the kids in My Father's Shadow, the little girl, played by Banin Ahmad Nayef, is so unaffected and natural and, oh, God.
Brilliant performance.
Yeah.
The President's Cake is in select theaters with subtitles. My Father's Shadow, the powerful and poignant winner of the special mention at the Cannes Film Festival. Yes. Father and two sons in 1993 Lagos with all the brutal politics of that age. Sope Derisu is brilliant in this role. And Michael Snyder loves this movie. My Father's Shadow is in select theaters. Jimpa is the family drama which grazes the LGBTQ concerns in a modern setting. Olivia Colman, brilliant actress. John Lithgow, brilliant actor. He plays the father, Lithgow does, who's a gay academic.
Yeah, he's the grandfather of the trans kid, but Olivia Colman's father.
He's Olivia Colman's father, exactly.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sorry if that wasn't clear.
I know.
The non-binary child wants to move in with him,
right.
Grandpa, and Jimpa is sort of his moniker.
Yeah, their.
No, it's his, Lithgow's moniker.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Don't even.
I mean, I don't think you need to interrupt my summaries with like you've done.
Sometimes we just have to push you in the right direction.
The American community.
I think you should apologize.
Okay.
Pillion is realistic. Bondage and discipline. Isn't that what B&D stands for?
It does. And Sado and masochism. There's the
and S&M.
The
Alexander Skarsgård, the brilliant actor. He is the D in B&D. and he meets a young man in an English town who's looking for love, and he is the S in what's the other one?
He's the submissive and dominant and submissive.
Okay. It's S and M and B and D, right?
Yeah, right. And in the S&M relationship, there's a dominant and a submissive.
Right. Okay. But it's not called D and S.
Do we need a glossary?
It's called
B and D.
B and D.
But that's bondage and domination.
That's different than S and M.
S&M is sadomasochism.
Right. Oh my God. And you're
Right
telling
now
me
it's
it's
mating
but you
season,
can't.
they're
Michael
hungry.
liked it. He said it's a.
Not a, I'm not saying this in a pervy
If
way.
you're looking for love and you want to see somebody else looking for love, like a young man in an English town, meet Harry Melling, who plays the submissive in this relationship.
Right.
Pillion is in select theaters. Be careful about the theater you select. The Strangers, Chapter 3, serial killers in cheapo masks. Once again, the Rennie Harlan offering. Michael says, I hope this is the last one of this series. He does
begging you, Rennie.
not like it. And we started with Dracula, the Luc Besson offering, and sounded like there was a lot cool about Dracula, the kind of dark beginnings of the Dracula story. The setting seemed kind of interesting, mysterious. Dracula goes up against the church, endures a curse, right?
It's kind of a curse, yes.
Yeah. And, well, Michael felt that it ended a little too quickly, might have gotten a little mired in the beginning, the origin story.
Well, that was what was interesting. But the whole feeling, of course, is been there, bit that. I mean, it's sort of, it's Dracula. Come on, dude.
I love it. I love it. I am very excited about these offerings, at least a few of them. Will you be watching the Olympics, Culture Blaster?
Yeah, and of course I will be watching the Super Bowl. And the big question as a 49er fan is, can they both lose? Can both of those teams lose? I can't stand Robert Kraft. Don't want to see the Patriots win anything ever again. And the Seahawks are the Niners' mortal enemies. But that said, from a political standpoint, as someone in the chat pointed out, the owner of the Seahawks is, a
It's
Democrat.
not MAGA, yeah.
Not MAGA.
Why is the Grauman's Chinese Theater a Chinese theater? Asked Nellie Fidian. Can you
We're
answer
trying our best to call it the Grauman's Theater with more frequency, but there is a connected theater upstairs in the Hollywood and Highland Center called the Chinese Six. It is,
that? I mean, it has a history as being called the Chinese Theater.
and it's a beautifully ornate, and I use the word advisedly, Oriental architecture.
Snyder, you told that joke 2 weeks ago, says Phineas. What was the joke that you told
I
2
have
weeks ago?
no idea.
All right. Well,
Doesn't matter to me.
Watch yourself.
I'm bad. I'm sorry.
Sorry. It's a big weekend, everybody. What
The
can I say?
Gloomy says, I don't recall ever watching any Dracula movie in my life, and I'll be 65 in April.
Holy cow! Or
Yeah.
wow.
And Dracula would make a great Bond villain, says Rix. Oh, that's interesting.
That
I don't
is
know.
kind of
That
intriguing.
would be a different treatment of it, maybe.
It's supernatural, A big weekend in art and partying in Los Angeles. Pop surrealist Robert Williams has an opening in the Long Beach Museum of
Sure he
Art
does.
tonight. Space Party is DJing at the club Night on Earth on Cahuenga in Hollywood tonight from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. There's a La Luz de Jesus opening tomorrow. KP Projects, Think Space, and The Hive have openings. And the Creepy Gals Valentine's Art Show with DJs and performances is at Super Chief downtown from 7 to 11. My dance card is full, Mark.
You are amazing. I have to say, don't know how you do it. Have a great weekend, Michael, and we look forward to next week. He comes and goes on a rainbow. Bye-bye, Culture Blaster.
So long.
By the way, we're going to start doing something with Culture Blaster's segment. He's going to be broken out and populated up on the Substack, which has just started. It's kind of a soft launch, so it's not really kind of ready for prime time. But if you want to find the Culture Blaster, you'll find him not on the YouTube channel, but over on our Substack, the Mark Thompson Show Substack.